Welcome to the Labour Force. I am Bongeni Mutwa. The South African economy is back humming again following the total shutdown to fight the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic last year. But the deadly virus is still very much with us, and that calls for strict adherence to health and safety regulations to prevent infections at the workplace. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Thulas Nxesi, visited the Earlybird chicken factory in Olifansfontein, east of Johannesburg, earlier today to inspect the level of compliance with COVID-19 safety regulations. I caught up with the minister at the factory, which employs around 2,000 people, and I asked him about the significance of his visit.
Well, we have 3 programs today. The first one was I visited one of our busiest labor center in Kempton Park to witness for myself those queues and start discussing together with the management there what are the interventions we can come up with in order to deal with the long queues. But also we normally pick up 1 or 2 workplaces with huge number of workers. Like we have come to this particular company to look at, we had been told it's more than 2,500 workers here. Then we just wanted to know how are they coping, how are they complying. An inspection report is going to be given to us because our inspectors have been here to look at the issues of compliance. And we have raised, just in passing, we're still going to interact with that report.
Generally, so far, with more and more workplaces reopening and resuming operations, how are you finding the level of compliance with health and safety protocols for COVID-19?
There are areas where are doing very well, like this, but there are areas where there are serious concerns. But we don't want to do it casually. We must rely on the reports by our inspectors. You can see I have a group of inspectors here who are of the labor inspectors who are with us, who have been doing work in this particular area. Those reports are telling us that in other areas, people have been doing well in other areas. But remember, it's not very long that we have been all be able to go out and do the work properly. We have always been working under those high lockdowns of 5, 4, even 3. It has been very difficult to go out. We will go into areas where there are crises. By the way, this area, because it was an essential service, supplying very important services, food, it never closed. So that's why it's one of the first to visit. We're still going to have a program of visiting more of those particular areas. So health and safety is very key.
Your portfolio also includes issues of employment. We hear that employment levels have picked up significantly, even to pre-COVID levels. Some people are saying, is that true? Is that what you are seeing as well?
All I can say, even prior to COVID, the economy was going down. And I think we're starting to lose jobs. It became worse during the COVID time, where a number of companies could not be able to operate. And we have been talking in this sector, the issue of job losses. The whole government has been talking about, business has been talking about that. The unions at the level of NECLET, we have been talking about that. And the stimulus package or the recovery plan, which the president has been talking about, has been put together, discussed at NECLET. We hope that it's going to be able to deal with the mass retrenchments which we have seen during the time of the COVID. But at this stage, it might still be too early to say something. Let's see what our projects, how those projects which have been put in place in terms of the infrastructure, the mass employment programs, how they are going to perform. Maybe after some time we would be able to say these are delivering, but we hope that employment is going to pick up as already some of the research is indicating. But at this stage, as the department, we are still doing our own research and our own statistics.
In closing, Minister, the UIF, how is it doing? How is it coping with the demand in terms of retrenchments and tariffs that's been reinstated now? Have you managed at the UIF to remove all the issues of the wrong people getting paid, tariffs and those kind of things?
You would remember that after the audit by the AG, we were exposed into a lot of areas where there were lack of controls. We think that we have dealt with those areas now, lack of the controls. There can't be a repeat of some of those things. We think that we've managed. Even when we interacted with the AG, they were also commending that we've done that. But we are not yet at 100%, because this is a massive operation. Remember, the millions of the people we paid, about half of them were not part of the system. And it had to be done within a very short space of time. We had to re-engineer, restructure our own systems within a very short space, because there was a lot of desperations. But that cannot also be an excuse. We must make sure that the controls are there. But the reality is now, the focus is shifting from the tariffs. The president did make an announcement that as we extend the tariffs, it's only those sectors which cannot be able to operate. We talked about the hospitality industries. We talked about the liquor industries and the whole value chain, that there are workers, they have never been at work and so on, the restaurants and so on. And we're counting our numbers now, so that together with the industry or the sector, to be able to say, this is how we've quantified it, this is how we've paid. The president has already made an announcement that we are extending it for specific sectors. But we can say now, that's what I saw in Kempton Park, in the Labour Centre an hour ago. There's a shift from the tariffs in terms of the demand of the issues towards people who have lost jobs, to retrenchments. That's what we're going to be dealing with. We think that's where the big challenge is.
Well, that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining us. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. Up next, The Alternative Investor with Nastasia Arendse. Stay with us.